Hey everyone, this is Judah with Questionnaire Coaching, and I wanted to talk to you today about what coaching really is. This whole field of life coaching has emerged in the last 15, 20 years as a result of people needing to push forward in life, not by being told what to do, but by having somebody else peer into life, seeing life from their perspective, and asking them appropriate questions and listening to them in an appropriate way to cause this individual to actually be able to not only feel understood, but also to be able to see their own life differently. In other words, somebody else puts on the glasses of that person's experience and is able to question and reiterate and understand the person from their own point of view, rather than having a consultant come in who just tells you what reality is, tells you what's going on in your life, and tells you what you need to change, rather than attending a class where a professor sits up on stage and tells you all of their expertise and you write it down and then fill in little multiple choice question sheets and get graded on it. Instead, people were needing and are needing in their life someone to listen to them and not be the expert, but rather be the expert listener, letting you be the expert on their life, but let them be the expert of asking questions and hearing you and understanding what's going on in your life. Life coaching takes the mental world of imagination, creativity, innovation, and bridges it into reality. Because what we find is people themselves have these ideas and things they want to do. Maybe it's a different relationship dynamic with their own children. Maybe it's starting a new job. Maybe it's going back to school. Maybe it's inventing something. Maybe it's buying a particular car and going and racing. Who knows? It's these ideas that we want to enact, it's these things that we want to do, but somehow we don't do it. But what we find in life coaching is that you can bridge the mental reality of these desires and qualities and creativity and innovations. You can bridge it into reality, but the main catalyst to doing so is not statements. It's not hiring somebody to do it for you, but rather someone to sit there and ask you questions, to cause your mind to zero in on the specific qualities about your imagination and be able to crystallize it in such a manner as to make it possible to actually bridge into reality. Because the truth is, people once upon a time thought of the concept of a laptop computer, and they crystallized in their mind. They thought through the process of how to make that a reality, and they actually made it a reality. The same thing is true for iPhones. The same thing is true for books. And so many things that we see in our day-to-day lives is that once upon a time, they were all just an idea in a person's head, and somehow they were able to cause that to bridge reality. And what we find is the best way to innovate the future, the best way to create the future is through questioning, it's through coaching, it's through having someone who can cause your own mind to further zoom in and see what needs to happen, to fine tune those qualities, to not only know that you want to start a business, but what business it is, who you want working for you, where you want the business to be, what product you're going to have. All these more detail oriented questions, you're able to crystallize those to where the imagination is not only a far out there idealistic concept, but it's so concrete and it's so crystallized that all it has to do is roll out into reality. Life coaches are questionnaires. We invent the future through questioning. We pioneer the future through inquiry. And what we find and what we have found is that this practice is so effective. 80% of Fortune 500 CEOs have personal life coaches, and that's how they get to the top. The therapist, they're concerned with the past. They're concerned with solving past problems, past hurts, past pains. Whereas the life coach, they're concerned with changing the future. They're concerned with changing your focus. They're concerned with asking questions and getting you to approach life differently, enact things differently, do things differently, not because the person told you to do so, but because you discovered and realized that's how you want to do it. That's how you want to change. That's the things you want to do differently. If we were to compare and contrast, therapists are kind of like the mechanic who changes your transmission when it goes out. They replace your tire when it pops, because those certain aspects handicap your car from moving forward, metaphorically speaking. That's kind of like getting into depressive funk. That's kind of like needing to go to a mental institution or something like that because you emotionally are breaking down. That's not what a life coach does. A life coach is like that mechanic that works for NASCAR and is able to engineer the cars and change and tweak things in such a way that the cars can go 200, 250 miles an hour. They can like spin around turns, do figure eights, make jumps, can do all these things, can roll, all these crazy qualities because they're trying to achieve some kind of a goal. They're trying to get somewhere. They're trying to win the Daytona 500. That's what a life coach does. A life coach is able to help you to see reality in such a way as to innovate and change and do things differently so that your life can be different. They essentially allow you to be able to create a whole new future. They help you engineer a new future. That is life coaching.